Welcome to this week's Hump Day Quickie. God, it's number 4 already. Time's just flying this year. This one was actually requested by one of you. Thank you guys. We always appreciate the suggestions and the questions. And hopefully this answers it. You basically just said do one about sitemaps. You didn't have any specific questions. So sitemaps can come off a little confusing if you don't understand what the purpose of them are. The purpose of a sitemap is meant to visually break up a single project. It's definitely not meant to have multiple different projects in a single file. And we'll go over a few of the rules, and it will make sense why they're rules, knowing the backbone of what it's supposed to be. So there are two main ways that a sitemap can be created. One of them is automatically by Register 360. So say you bring in a scan from one day and then another job the next day, you bring it into that same Register 360 project, they will create a different sitemap. You could by all means, register each of those in the same project separately and be good to go. The problem you'll run across is when you go to try and finalize, you can only export the first sitemap. I'll show you what I mean here. If you see on the screen, we've simulated two different bundles by just breaking the link between them. We're going to move one down to another sitemap, and as you see, when we go to export, it only gives us an option for one sitemap. That's not what we want to do. We want at least the option to separate multiple sitemaps. So this brings us to rule number 1, or they're not necessarily rules, but one of the two guidelines. So there are two ways that you can guarantee you'll get to be able to export more than one sitemap. You don't have to use both, you can use one or the other. And the first one we'll show you here, we'll simulate we're going to create a second sitemap right here by clicking plus on the top there. And then we will select the point clouds we want to move. We're going to leave the link. And we're going to drag and drop those into that second sitemap. And as you see, when we hit finalize, we now have the option to do one or both, 1, 2, both of them, the second one only. So that's the first way that you can do it, really simple. Now we do know that that's not always possible, especially if you're going up floors. So that brings us to the second option to be able to export these. In the second method, we're going to go ahead and break this bundle again into two separate bundles, and we're going to move one of the bundles to a second sitemap to simulate multiple floors, or however you are going to break up the project. What we're going to do then is we're going to bring in a survey control network. Now they don't have to all be shot on the same day, but they need to all be in the same file that you bring in all at once, so you can bring your entire survey control project in for that whole project in, and then as long as you apply each sitemap's bundles to that control, it treats it the same as having a link between the two, and you have the same outcome. So, ultimately sitemaps aren't that difficult. They're easy to create, they're easy to delete, they're easy to move point clouds to and from. You can't delete them if you have any point clouds that have control inside them. Remember that. And as long as you understand the basic idea behind what it's supposed to be, the general guidelines for how to work with it make pretty good sense. Like always, if you got some value out of this, subscribe. Make sure you stay up to date with them. If you have any suggestions that you want to learn about, and it doesn't always have to be Register 360 or 3DR or even Leica, go ahead and leave a suggestion and we'll cover it. Thanks, guys.